Award-winning broadcast journalist Ed Marshall asks the tough questions you want answered. Informative, soul-stirring, one-on-one interviews about matters that affect our lives in this region we call home. Here now with Conversations is Ed Marshall.
Well, hello and welcome to the show. You know, it's been said time and time again that New Orleans is a melting pot of people, traditions, and music, and it is. Scholars generally agree that many of the traditions we enjoy today is a result of indigenous people, Indians, who linked early encounters between the region's natives and black communities. Since its founding by the French in the 1700s, on land originally inhabited by the Chitimacha Indian tribe, which is New Orleans, European colonizers brought enslaved people from the western coast of Africa to New Orleans, which eventually became a hub of the United States slave trade. The two marginalized groups, meaning the Indians and the Africans, found ways of supporting each other. Many native communities assimilated the Africans into their tribes. As one historic person wrote, what it means to be black can be a lot of things in Louisiana. And I'm one of those people who can tell you a lot about that. But I have people who are really the people who can give you the background on all of this, and they're our visitors today. Please welcome Glenn. And Glenn, I have to say, I hope I have this right, Chayil.
Perfect.
Jones, and Rachel Harris Ledet. Good to see you all.
Hello, Ed.
Pleasure.
You all are, first of all, involved in a big project of trying to make sure that the historic premises of the Indians and African Americans does not get lost, particularly from education of young people. And so I applaud that. I applaud that tremendously. And the organization now is called Feather Nola.
Feather Fund Nola.
Feather Fund Nola, which is a nonprofit. But you started it years back before that, trying to make sure that the Indian traditions were not lost. Tell us about that.
Absolutely, and first of all, thank you for having us today. We are truly honored to be here for someone that has done so much as far as reporting in New Orleans, and it really has kept everyone ear to the ground. Well, yes, absolutely. For me, it was finding out about Poverty Point where it all started for me. A World Heritage UNESCO site that is 2 hours northeast of New Orleans that predates Egypt's pyramids by 1,500 years. These were the mound builders. So then when we looked at mound builders and we see that this is a direct correlation to what we know today as Mardi Gras Indians, and then to understand that that name didn't apply to them until 1984 when we had the beautiful World's Fair here, and they needed a way to bring our tourism in. And ever since then, that has been the cornerstone of our tourism in Louisiana, is this Aboriginal culture mixed with that French, but more importantly, we had the Spanish here prior to. So we have, this is more than just a simple story. And though our city really focuses on the Chitimachas bringing, because there was 22 Chitimacha Indians that brought Bienville down to Esplanade Ridge, which we know presently as Bayou Road, to actually start our French Quarter, right? So, so way before 1718, when our city was started, the Spanish had been here since 1500s. The mound builders have been here since the beginning of time. So this melting pot of the culture happened way before what we know as English and the British involvement in the Americas.
Yeah. And the main thing I get out of a lot of what you all are doing, particularly, you're kind of taking it like a on-the-road show, so to speak. Rachel, tell us about that, because you want young people, not only African-American young people, but of all races, to really know about how this place called New Orleans and why we look the way we do, and whatever, how it all got started.
Sure, so Chayil has been doing not only historic work, but community work under the brand Black Masking, which refers to the Indian tribes for years. And when we met several years ago, we not only saw a need to give back to that community, give economic opportunity to that community, but also to raise the tech and the STEM and STEAM, as it's now called, opportunities for kids and for adults. There's a workforce development issue that we would love to be able to just bridge the gap on. There's a cultural issue that we want to be able to tell this very special story of Louisiana, because as you said so eloquently earlier, we are a melting pot. There's not really just like white people and black people. And so it's something that we talk about a lot. So many of us have a multicultural background. Our ancestors lived together, played together, built the colonies of the United States.
I like
present
to say
day.
made it and traded.
Made it and
traded together.
And so we're all about like that color of life, and so we're bringing culture and entertainment. Chayil calls it edutainment, like education and entertainment, because we know that when we have fun together and we celebrate together, we can also teach history of all of the tribes that were here in Louisiana, and there were a ton of tribes. How many tribes?
I mean, over 30. A major one was the Choctaw, and you had many tribes that spawned from under that topic of Ishak, of course the Chittimacha, the Natchez, just so many that was in this region.
Yeah, I know the area I'm from. My grandmother was, and you know how the comedians like to say, okay, every black person says they've got Indian in their family, but when you're from Louisiana, most, well, I would say most, or a lot, have Indian roots.
Well, historical facts is only 4% of the transatlantic slave trade actually came to New Orleans, and actually the historical fact of the French in their historical books of how they colonized or settled in Louisiana, they took their slaves from a particular place, Wayuta, because of our marsh area. That area of Wayuta, which we know is present-day Ghana, had those marsh areas they could grow rice and so forth. So we historically, we know what makes us up here, and we know that it has a large indigenous Aboriginal culture.
And when you put these families together and you see that, you know, you may not look like your mom or dad, you look like somebody in the family. You know, my older sister is like 6'1", and my grandmother was, wasn't Indian. She died already years ago. But if you would see my sister, you would say, that can't be his sister, you know, but she looks like my grandmother, who was, and she ended up being a model and doing some stuff way back in Chicago years before, because they didn't know what she was. They truly stopped. She was in Marshall Field's store and said, "What is she?" You know, that kind of thing. And she became a model. Somebody spotted her there, and the rest is history. But
people ask, "What is she?"
But truly,
for me too.
You know, those kind of things happen to a lot of people, and so I just wanted to bring that out, because a lot of times when people think about heritage, they're like, "Well, that person doesn't look like that other person."
They want to pick one thing, and that doesn't really exist here.
But when you look at ancestry, you just go back and you go, "Whoa!" It's so super exciting, you know. This is the 4th year? Is this?
Yes, as Rachel was explaining, 3 years we did it here in New Orleans under the premise of black masking. It was our first foray in trying to make sure that the Aboriginal culture here had a funding lane and a story associated with funding, because everything had been under Mardi Gras Indian, because like I said, since 1984. So from there, in learning more, you have to do better. So we altered that name to the Aboriginal Carnival Inyans, because we understand that Mardi Gras was what the French had, and as they were doing that, Carnival was created, and that's part of the diaspora across from Brazil to the Caribbean all the way to Italy.
Right, and back when they started all this stuff, you know, the Indians, I understand, they were kind of like, kind of the lost people. They really didn't let them participate, so they kind of were like the quiet end of what's now become the blooming rose. You know?
Right, exactly. Well, you know, they Mardi Gras goes back to Roman holiday where it was kind of like a slave turnaround day. So Mardi Gras was a day that the slaves and the Aboriginal had often, as we know of our historic Congo Square, where jazz was started, right?
Yes, indeed.
It was that melting pot there, so they would put their feathers back on and go back to their normal regalia and be able to parade through the neighborhood. So that's truly where that culture and the second line culture and all that comes from, and they got merged into this beautiful experience that we have here called Mardi Gras.
And, you know, when I think about when you know talk about funding for different things, you know, I think about how much money it must cost a lot of the Indians to beat all these things. These funds would help with that tremendously. I mean, and that's a big expense for a lot of people.
That's the biggest goal. That was the reason for this. When you learn and you understand that there's a disparity, you want to figure out how can you help. Not so much just cry about it, but I think more citizens of the United States, if we stop just crying and debating and actually try to do something, we would have a better country. So that's what we did. We just tried to be an example by stating, hey, we can create the lane, the story, a festival, we can create merchandise, and we can give a percentage back of all of that to this Feather Fund NOLA 501c3, where others can participate, where we can buy the materials that they need in order to put those suits together. Because as you just said, they cost $5,000 to $10,000. Everyone's familiar with the Whitney grant that's out, but those guys aren't getting but about $2,500, close to maybe $5,000, but that's only for one. You have a tribe with 20 people in it that all of them are spending $7,000 to $10,000 on their suit. So it's an economic prowess here. It's a help meet that they need, but it's also an engine that can be created here.
Because it spins off. You know, you got to buy this, you got to buy that. It's kind of like when new people move in, they got to have a house, and not only a house, they got to have a fridge, they got to have it's the whole thing. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the supporters of this 501c3, including the state of Louisiana. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Women know how to get things done. Invest in women and girls, and they will do the rest. Join us at care.org/women-know-how.
Well, welcome back. We're so glad that you're part of our viewing audience. And if you like what you see and you like what you hear on the show, be sure to call in to WLAE and let us know just what you think about our programming here on our show. Let's get back to what we were talking about. We were talking about the Indians and raising funds to help that particular I call it metamorphosis in terms of the African Americans and Indians, and educating people now on what's going on with the Feather Fund NOLA. But this year, Rachel, you all have gone downriver. You have gone downriver to St. James Parish, St. Charles Parish, right, yes. St. Charles Parish. Tell us how that happened.
We basically took this idea of the festival that Chayil had worked on, and we're looking for a new host, and really to develop some partnerships where we could bring in more community members. As you said, funding is really important, and so we started having these conversations. Unfortunately, we had just had a really fantastic conversation with Parish President Matt Jewell in St. Charles Parish right around Hurricane Ida hitting, which was, as you know, devastating to that parish. So, I mean, this is dating back 2 years or so. And he really just, you know, opened his arms to us. He understood the importance of the Native communities, especially in St. Charles Parish. His family actually had found some Aboriginal pottery on one of their properties not that long before. So we had this really great, warm conversation with him about what we were trying to do. And he just really embraced us and asked us to host our event when it was coming next in his parish, because St. Charles Parish really, and the river parishes wanted to say, look, we're back in business. We had this really terrible hit with Ida, but we're stronger than ever, and we really want to jump back in and harness this cultural experience.
Give us a little boost there, yeah. And also, the Lieutenant Governor also said, hey, I'm with you guys too.
Yes, so Louisiana has had a significant drop in festivals post-pandemic. 40% drop, and so we had a great meeting with him and his staff, and the Louisiana Office of Tourism has a really great program in partnership with Explore Louisiana, and we have an advertising grant with them to help us promote this event. They've been really helpful. Our event is listed on the Explore Louisiana website, as well as tons of other events and festivals around the state.
Well, you know, that's me. I mean, it's like you all went down there and you preach your sermon, and I tell you, you've got most of the businesses there. The Port of Louisiana, who's run by a great friend of mine, and
Port of South Louisiana.
Port of South Louisiana. I mean, Port of South Louisiana, and because he switched from one parish to one to the other, so I have to remind him of that. I said, look, you got to be clear on what port are you at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We also have a really great partnership with the St. Charles Parish School Board.
Yes.
They've really embraced this the
and
culture.
I saw on your that there was a message from the school board. I mean the president who was in support of this, because I think everybody knows that we really live in this place that's like none other in the world. And I truly believe that, and it's so significant that you all do that. So tell us when the Big Fest gets going, and what can we expect?
Well, November 5th is the giant festival and the coming out party, so to speak. Great music, great entertainment, but I'd be remiss if I didn't state that what Billy Nungus' office, even though the partnership with the grant, but they've been instrumental in helping us walk through this, through the St. Charles Parish.
They didn't just say here.
They did, and I really want, because many people have said a lot about Nungus' office, especially during political seasons, but I want to give, respect and props what they're doing, as well as Matt Jewell's office. They have been truly opened their arms and been instrumental in making sure that this event happened in St. Charles Parish. St. Charles Parish did more than just open their arms. They laid a roadmap for us.
That's great.
And with St. Charles Parish school system, Louisiana has always been rated low in education in the nation, but St. Charles Parish school system is #1. It has high ratings nationally outside of it, and they have embraced the information that we've kind of discussed already here. They've embraced the culture to where they're allowing us to bring it into the curriculum.
Wow.
So we're not just talking about the parish, we're not just talking about the state, we're talking about affecting our children and understanding the true culture of this great state of ours and this great melting pot of ours. And St. Charles Parish has really stepped up and did that.
So I can see some of the kids actually, probably choosing this as a career in terms of studying these kind of things, and how they unearthed so much stuff over in Egypt and places like that. I can see them doing, because there are mounds around.
LSU has 2 mounds in front of their library.
Right, and people don't even know that what they are. You know.
So some of the features that the students will be involved with, which is a great partnership we're really excited about. We're going to have an art display by the St. Charles Parish Art Department, so the kids can come out and see their art displayed. And then we also have a robotics team that's going to come do a full demonstration and let the kids come and play. And so we're just really trying to link everything together. In addition to those sort of family-friendly events, we're going to have face painting, food trucks, live music all day from noon
79ers gang and Amanda Shaw is going to tear down the house.
Oh yeah.
It's noon to 7, and we have basically a performance every hour throughout the day on that Sunday, the 5th. So we're really excited about.
Okay, so I'll take that as an early birthday gift.
Yes.
To come out and enjoy you all.
Speaking of birthdays, I also would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my wife, Sharonda Green, Miss Artist 28, and you can find her on Art by Sharonda online. And she painted this beautiful picture of Big Chief Little Walter Cook of the Creole Wild West, which is the first chartered Mardi Gras Indian tribe in the city from 1830.
Right, and
So-
that's significant. First chartered.
First chartered. So as we have said different terminologies, I want to do 3 different terminologies and 2 pillars in which we stand on that you guys can leave with. One, the Mardi Gras Indian. That is a terminology that was in 1984 that brought all of our great tourism to here, especially when we lost the petroleum industry here.
Right.
Secondly, black masking was a terminology that was used between that culture. We as a company have now evolved and understood the historical aspect of Carnival and now refer to them as Aboriginal Carnival Indians connecting to Poverty Point. Now that's the 3 things, the 3 names. The 2 pillars that we're standing on is that this is STEAM, that what we're doing with our culture, we are going to use this to translate into the new world, and that we're going into the new digital realm in which we're going in, that our culture is something that does not have to be lost only because you can see it, touch it when you're here, but an alligator, a headdress on the digital realm, we should be the people that produce that here. So as we're having our kids and our education being taught with STEM, we're telling them, do not forget about your rich culture and translate your culture into this digital realm where we can now be producers and not consumers in the new world that we're heading into.
And you know what, that makes people ultra proud about where they come from. You know, it's part of the missing legacy, really. You know, it's like, wow, I didn't know I'm a part of that. This is flowing through me, you know, and that is so significant, especially for young kids, the ones that are really just like sponges, you know, gathering all this. But I did want to say again that this is a remarkable piece of art, and I understand you all going to be doing prints of it.
Yes.
And as a fundraiser, that is fantastic.
Yeah, so Sharonda did this custom piece, and it has become the logo and the brand for our Cultural Fall Fest on November 5th. And so we're going to make prints so that we can share her art with the world. And we just think it's a perfect representation of fall colors and the Indian or Inyan culture. And it's just really special to us. So we're glad we could bring it here today.
Super.
And thank you, Sharonda, for letting us share your artistry.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to say that this Big Chief is no longer the Big Chief of the Creole Wild West. Is now Terrence Mitchell. So I want a big shout out to Big Chief Terrence Mitchell of the Creole Wild West. But he is now retired. But he has loves us and partnered with us. So we just want to
all those guys just fantastic and the nicest people.
Yes.
You know? Okay, we got, and also y'all have a website. So let's tell them where they can find more information.
Where they can go?
Yeah.
Sure. So featherfundnola.com is our website, and you can get tickets online. The event is $10 for adults and free for kids. So it's very family friendly. We want all the families to come out and join us. We'll be dancing in front of the stage. Ed will be there.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And you can get your tickets online.
And then you have your other piece of it, your QR code right there. And you can
the
just
QR code. Yes.
Scan that. And so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll be telling you how I'm going to shake a tail feather at the festival. So we'll be right back.
Want to know if your child is ready for school? Find out with Learning Heroes Readiness Check, a free online tool for students in grades K through 8. Your child will answer 3 to 5 questions about math and reading. It only takes a few minutes, and it isn't a test. It's more like a game. You might be surprised by what your child does and doesn't know.
Eren, hiciste muy bien.
You did really well.
At the end, you'll get fun, free activities and resources to help your child succeed in school. You can share what you've learned with your child's teacher.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So you can work together to make sure your child stays on track.
Keep reading the books you enjoy. And I think it's good to talk about what's happening in the stories.
Well, welcome back. We've had a great show. We don't have much time left, but we certainly want to, again, recap what's going to be going on and how special this is in terms of being an economic boost for the community, but also particularly for the culture of our area. A few last words from both of you.
We just welcome everybody out. We want to celebrate community and the culture of Louisiana, and we're purposely making this a vibrant, family-friendly event with the food trucks, the beer booth, tap truck Nola is going to have specialty cocktails, lots of delicious food, and some great music in our lineup. So welcome everybody to come out.
Please do, and anyone that just loves festivals so much that they like volunteering at festivals, please come on out. We are accepting all volunteers right now. Yes.
Sign up on our website.
Sign up on our website. But yes, we have some great fun and entertainment planned for everyone.
Oh,
great
sure.
food, great drinks, and it's just going to be a nice, cool Sunday in New Orleans. You know.
And again, you can always go to the website, and you might want to go down and have a good time in one of the parishes, as they call it.
As we say, explore Louisiana.
Explore Louisiana. Okay. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for being with us. As I always tell you, do something good for yourself, do something good for someone else, and to remember, stay in peace, not pieces. Until next time, we'll see you.